The topic of psychology of exceptional children is highly relevant to professionals in the field of psychology in accordance with RA 10029 or Republic Act 10029, which emphasizes the importance of competent and well-regulated psychological services. Here's how the psychology of exceptional children relates to this policy statement. RA 10029 recognizes the diverse specializations within the field of psychology. The psychology of exceptional children is one such specialization. Professionals in this field focus on understanding the unique psychological needs and challenges faced by children with exceptionalities, such as those with learning disabilities, autism spectrum disorders, or intellectual disabilities. The policy statement acknowledges the significance of psychological services provided by practicing psychologists to diverse types of clients. Children with exceptionalities often require specialized psychological assessments, interventions, and support to thrive academically and socially. Psychologists specializing in exceptional children play a crucial role in addressing these needs. RA 10029 aims to protect the public by ensuring that only competent and trained individuals offer psychological services. This is particularly important in the context of exceptional children, as their needs are unique and require specialized knowledge and skills. Licensing and regulation of psychologists specializing in exceptional children help ensure that they meet high professional standards. The policy statement emphasizes nurturing competent psychologists and enhancing their professional growth. Professionals in the psychology of exceptional children must continuously update their knowledge and skills to provide the best possible care for their young clients. This aligns with the goal of promoting competence and excellence in the field. This policy encourages psychologists to maintain globally competitive standards of practice. Exceptional children and their families benefit from evidence-based interventions and assessments, which require psychologists to stay current with international best practices in the field. This ensures that Filipino psychologists are on par with global standards in addressing the needs of exceptional children. So, the psychology of exceptional children aligns with the principles outlined in RA 10029 by recognizing the importance of specialized psychological services, the need for competent professionals, and the promotion of high standards of practice. Professionals in this field contribute significantly to nation building and develop by supporting the well-being and development of exceptional children and their families. On Article 3, the topic of psychology of exceptional children is highly relevant to professionals in the field of psychology in accordance to this article. As we mentioned in the previous slide, professionals in this field of psychology, including those specializing in the said field of expertise, are involved in providing psychological interventions as well as the psychological assessment. The psychology of exceptional children is directly aligned, again, with the practice of psychology as defined by RA 10029. Let us further discuss some of the content of the Act or the Republic Act. Article 5 of RA 10029 focuses on the licensure examinations required for individuals seeking to practice psychology and psychometrics in the Philippines. Section 11 suggested that this section emphasizes the necessity of passing a licensure examination for psychologists and psychometricians. The board is responsible for conducting this examination at designated places and dates following the regulations set by the commission. So this ensures that individuals who wish to practice psychology and psychometrics meet required standards of competence. A minimum of 200 hours for practicum internship of supervised practicum internship and clinical experience is required, specifically related to services enumerated in the Act. So this service should be conducted under the guidance of licensed psychologists or other licensed mental health professional. Applicants must also demonstrate good moral character, which is an important ethical requirement for practicing psychology. Individuals with convictions or offenses involving moral turpitude are eligible to apply for licensure examination. Section 13, qualification of applicants for the licensure examination. So this section specifies that qualifications for applicants aiming to become licensed psychometricians, similar to psychologists, psychometrician, applicants must be Filipino citizens, they are permanent residents or citizens of foreign countries with reciprocity agreements related to practice of psychometrics. Applicants should hold bachelor's degree in the psychology from a recognized and accredited institution, either in the Philippines or abroad. They must also have completed the necessary coursework related to the subjects covered in the licensure examination. As a psychologist, as with psychologists, psychometrician applicants must demonstrate good moral character. Individuals with convictions, again, for offenses involving moral turpitude are not eligible to apply for licensure examination for psychometrician. So overall, Article 5 of RA 10029 establishes the criteria and prerequisites for individuals seeking to become licensed psychologists and psychometrician in the Philippines. So these requirements are designed to ensure that practitioners in this field are qualified, ethical, and capable of delivering high-quality psychological services to public while maintaining the integrity and standards of the profession. Section 26 of RA 10029 outlines the circumstances under which board has the authority to take disciplinary action such as suspending or revoking psychologist certificate of registration and professional ID or canceling a special or temporary permit. So this section provides a framework for maintaining the integrity of psychology profession and ensuring the competence and ethical conduct of psychologists. So let's contextualize this section. Section 26 specifies the grounds upon which the board can initiate disciplinary actions against registered psychologists. For example, procurement or certification by fraud or deceit. If an individual has obtained their certificate or registration, professional ID, or special or temporary permit through fraudulent or deceptive means, the board has the authority to take action against them. So this ensures that only qualified and ethical individuals are allowed to practice psychology. Registered psychologists must not enable unqualified individuals to advertise or practice psychology using their credentials. This provision aims to prevent unauthorized and potentially harmful practice of the field of psychology. Psychologists are expected to adhere to the provisions of RA 10029, its implementing rules and regulation, and its codes of ethics or professional standards set forth by the board. Violations of these regulations can result in disciplinary action to maintain professional standards and protect the public. If a psychologist demonstrates manifest physical or mental incompetence that compromises their ability to provide psychological services with reasonable skill and safety to their clients or patients, the board may take action to safeguard the well-being of those receiving services. So this clause, letter E, professional misconduct or negligence of psychometricians, addresses the conduct of psychometricians, requiring them to uphold professional standards. Professional misconduct or negligence in the performance of their duties may lead to disciplinary action to ensure the quality of psychological assessment services. If a psychologist continues to practice profession during period of suspension, this can lead to further disciplinary action. So, Section 26 of RA 10029 is designed to maintain the professionalism, competence, and ethical standards within the field of psychology. It empowers the board to take necessary actions, including suspension or revocation of licenses to address various forms of misconduct, fraud, negligence, or incompetence among registered psychologists or psychometrician, ultimately safeguarding the well-being of clients and upholding the integrity of the profession. Article 7 focuses on privileged communication and the professional integration of psychologists and psychometricians. Here are practical ethical examples contextualized in this section. Rights to privileged communication for psychologists and psychometricians. This section highlights the importance of maintaining confidentiality in the practice of psychology. Psychologists and psychometricians are duty-bound to protect the privacy of their clients and cannot be examined or compelled to disclose any communication or information acquired during the provision of psychological services without the client's consent. This privilege is crucial for establishing trust between professionals and client. For example, a psychologist is working with a client who is seeking therapy for depression. During the sessions, the client shares deeply personal and sensitive information about their struggles, including thoughts of self-harm. The psychologist is prohibited by law from disclosing this information to anyone, including law enforcement without the client's explicit consent, ensuring that the clients feel safe in seeking help. A psychometrician is conducting an assessment of a child's cognitive abilities. The child's parents provide consent for the assessment but request the results that the results not be shared in the school. The psychometrician must respect this request and ensure that the assessment results are only shared with the parents or other authorized individuals, maintaining the confidentiality of the child's information. Section 31, Integration of Profession. This section addresses the integration of psychologists and psychometricians into national organization recognized by the accredited by the board, subject to approval of the commission. Membership in this organization is automatic for registered and licensed professionals, and it involves both privileges and responsibilities. But membership in this integrated organization does not preclude membership in other associations within the profession. Here are some examples. A psychologist who recently obtained their license is automatically enrolled as member of the integrated national organization upon payment of the required fees and dues. They can then access resources, networking opportunities, and professional development offered by this organization, which helps them stay updated with industry trends and best practices. Another example, unethical examples. An experienced psychometrician who is already a member of specialized association or child assessment professionals decides to join integrated national organization as well. This allows them to contribute to the broader profession, share their expertise, and benefit from collective knowledge and resources provided by the integrated organization while still actively participating in their specialized organization. Section 32, Code of Ethics and Code of Practice. So, this section mandates the board to adopt and promulgate the Code of Ethics and Code of Practice for psychometricians as prescribed and issued by the accredited professional organization of psychologists. This ensures that practitioners adhere to ethical standards and professional guidelines. For example, the board adopts the Code of Ethics and Code of Practice developed by the accredited professional organization of psychologists. Psychologists and psychometricians are ethically obligated to follow these codes, which includes principles like client confidentiality, informed consent, competence, and maintaining professional boundaries. For example, a psychologist strictly adheres to these codes by obtaining informed consent from clients before conducting assessment, ensuring the client's understanding of the process and their rights in the assessment process. Section 8 outlines prohibited acts, penalties, and the enforcement of the act. This section emphasizes the importance of proper certification and ethical conduct in the practice of psychology and psychometrics. Below are the, or as mentioned here, below are the practical ethical examples contextualized in this section. Engage in professional practice without valid certification. An individual without valid certificate of registration or COR or professional ID advertises and offers psychological counseling services to children with special needs. So this person is engaging in the professional practice of psychology without proper certification. Another example on ethical concerns. Ethically, this act is prohibited as it jeopardizes the well-being of clients and breaches the trust that clients place in certified professional. It can also lead to potential harm to clients. Next is representing as licensed practitioner with expired credentials. A psychologist continues to offer psychological assessments to children with special needs even after their certificate of registration has expired and their professional identification card has not been renewed. So this is an ethical practice as it misrepresents the psychologist's current status as a licensed practitioner, potentially misleading clients and compromising the quality of services. Next, allowing others to use credentials. A licensed psychologist allows an unqualified friend, for example, to use their professional identification card to secure a job as a school psychologist for children with special needs. For example, this is a clear violation as it enables an unqualified individual to practice psychology, putting the well-being of children at risk. Next is misrepresenting credentials. An unlicensed individual photocopies and uses the certificate of registration of a licensed psychologist to secure a contract with a school for children with special needs. So this is a serious ethical breach as it not only misrepresents the qualifications of the unlicensed individual but also undermines the trust and credibility of this profession. Okay. Next, providing false information to obtain certification. An individual provides false information on their application for certification, claiming to have completed the required supervised practicum when in reality they have not. So providing false information to obtain certification is an unethical act that undermines the integrity of the profession and can lead to incompetence in the delivery of services. No. No corporation, partnership, or entity shall operate without permit. A corporation opens a clinic for providing psychological assessments to children, for example, with special needs, without securing required permit from the board. So operating without required permit not only violates the law, but also raises ethical concerns as it may result in unqualified individuals providing psychological services to vulnerable population. Okay? Section 34, penalties. Any person or entity found guilty of violating the provisions of this act and its implementing rules and regulation can face imprisonment or fines as specified in Section 34. For example, an unlicensed individual who misrepresents themselves as a licensed psychologist providing services to children with special needs may face penalties that include imprisonment, fines, or both, depending on the court's discretion. So these penalties serve as deterrents to prevent unethical, illegal practices in the field of psychology and psychometrics. Of course, safeguarding the well-being of clients, including children with special needs. So this section empowers the board to take legal action to stop or prevent any individual, corporation, association, partnership, or entity from engaging in practice of psychology and psychometrics in violation of the law. So this is a crucial measure to protect the public and ensure that only qualified and certified professionals provide psychological services. Or here are some practical ethical examples. A corporation opens a special education center for children with special needs and starts offering psychological assessment services without the required permit or qualified staff. Concerned individuals report this violation to the board, which initiates legal action to enjoin restrain the corporation from continuing these services until they meet the necessary legal and professional standards. Taking legal action to enjoin and restrain a corporation or entity that is providing psychological services without proper certification is an ethical imperative. It upholds the ethical principles of competence, client welfare, and professional responsibility by ensuring that only qualified professionals deliver services to children with special needs and other vulnerable populations. Section 36. So this section outlines the duty of law enforcement agencies and officers at various government levels to uphold and enforce the provisions of the Act. It emphasizes that they have responsibility to investigate and prosecute individuals or entities violating the law. Here are some practical examples. A concerned parent of a child with special needs discovers that a therapist providing services to their child does not have required certification. The parent reports this violation to the local municipal government, prompting an investigation by law enforcement agency. If the therapist is found to be practicing without proper certification, they may face prosecution. Law enforcement agencies and officers have an ethical obligation to protect well-being and the rights of vulnerable populations such as children with special needs. Upholding and enforcing the provisions of the Act ensures that individuals and entities providing psychological services meet the necessary ethical and professional standards. Of course, again, safeguarding the welfare of clients and upholding the integrity of the profession. The practical application of Section 35 and 36 serves to enforce the law, preventing unqualified individuals in practicing psychology, psychometrics, and proper rights of the well-being of children with special needs and other clients seeking psychological services.